Hi everyone, this is Sig Suarez and welcome to another episode of Watch Manila. Today we are taking a look at the watch brands which the Philippine business leaders prefer. Before we go further, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel, Watch Manila. Also, please follow our Instagram page at watch_MNL for your daily dose of watch updates. As of the end of April this year, Watch Manila has so far observed 76 movers and shakers of Philippine business. The conclusion is that the watch choice in Philippine business remains to be Rolex. 51% of those spotted by Watch Manila wear Rolex watches. This is followed by Patek Philippe in the distant second with just over 14% of the business people wearing it. Panerai is third with just over 9%. Let's take a look at Rolex and see why it's the top choice for Philippine business leaders. Many people regard Rolex as the top luxury watch brand. The brand has become an aspirational product for a lot of people, and Rolex has often been equated with success. Founded in 1905 by Hans Wilsdorf, Rolex has grown on to be arguably the most famous watch brand in the world. More than being famous, Bloomberg in an article in 2017 stated that Rolex is also the most valuable watch brand in the world, then valued at $8.053 billion. Among the notable achievements of Rolex are as follows. It was the first watch which met the strict standards of the COSC, or the official Swiss Chronometer Testing Institute, for a wristwatch. Rolex also patented the first waterproof watch, the Oyster. It was also present in the wrist of Sir John Hunt when his team made it to the summit of Mount Everest and back. Famous pilot Chuck Yeager also wore a Rolex when he broke the sound barrier. And a Rolex watch was also present when Captain Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard went 37,800 feet into the depths of Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. The list just goes on and on. As of today, Rolex is owned by the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, a private family trust. Watch Manila's data show that the Daytona model of Rolex is the most preferred among the Philippine business elite. 28% of those who wear Rolex watches wear the Daytona. The Daytona is the racing watch of Rolex. Initially, people did not want this model, but it eventually caught on. In fact, in 2017, a Rolex Daytona actually worn by actor Paul Newman set the record for the most expensive watch sold then at $17.8 million. The Rolex Daytona today is among the hardest models to get at an authorized dealer. Trailing the Daytona is the Rolex Day-Date with 20.5% of wearers. The yellow gold version of the Day-Date is often referred to as the President's Watch. As the flagship watch of Rolex, it is considered by many as the ultimate Rolex. The Day-Date was the first watch to indicate the day of the week in full and at the same time display the date. At third is the Datejust at 15.3%. The Datejust was launched in 1945 to commemorate the 40th or Jubilee year of Rolex. This model has since become a classic. You can see this on a lot of wrists in the central business districts. Before the steel Rolex Submariners and GMTs became hyped. This was probably the first image of most people of what a Rolex watch looked like. From what we've spotted so far, with the exception of the Daytona, it appears that the business leaders prefer the more traditional and more business-appropriate Day-Date and Datejust models over the sought-after GMTs, Submariners, and other steel Rolex watches. Let's now look at some of the people who wear Rolex watches. first is Jaime Augusto Zobel de Ayala, or Jazza as he is known in the business circles. Jazza has just recently stepped down as CEO of Ayala Corporation. Ayala has interests in real estate, telecoms, banking, energy, and infrastructure, among others. Jazza has been spotted so far in two Rolex watches, the Air King and the Explorer. His family has been listed by Forbes magazine as the 5th richest in the 2020 Philippines Forbes list. Next is Dr. Andrew Tan. Dr. Tan owns Mega World, Emperador, Alliance Global, and the McDonald's franchise in the Philippines. He has been seen wearing a Rolex Datejust. Dr. Tan is ranked by Forbes magazine as the 6th richest person in the Philippines. The third is Enrique Razon Jr. Razon operates more than 20 ports worldwide through his company ICTSI. He has been referred to as the Ports King. Aside from ICTSI, he is also the owner of Soler Resort and Casino. Razon has been spotted wearing a Rolex Yachtmaster 2. Forbes lists Razon as the 3rd richest Filipino with a net worth of $4.3 billion. The next on our list is Ambassador Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. Ambassador Tantoco, who recently turned 100 years old, is the owner of the Rostans Empire. He has been seen wearing a gold Rolex Day-Date. Notably, Tantoco's son, Bienvenido Rico Tantoco Jr., has also been seen wearing a gold Rolex Day-Date. Lastly, we have Alfonso L. Salcedo Jr., also known as Yogi, who is a director at Security Bank. He was previously the bank president and CEO from 2015 to 2019. Yogi has been seen wearing a steel Rolex Daytona. Next, we look at Patek Philippe. Patek is widely considered by many as the top Swiss watchmaker. Antoine Norbert de Patek and François Chapek founded their watch business in 1839. In a few years, Patek met Jean-Adrien Philippe, and together they formed Patek Philippe. Throughout its history, Patek has patented several inventions such as for the precision regulator, perpetual calendar mechanism for pocket watches, secular perpetual calendar with retrograde date indication, among others. The brand has been owned by the Stern family since 1932. While Patek Philippe is known for their elegant and formal timepieces, the watches which grab much of the attention nowadays are its two stainless steel watches, the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. Let's take a look at some of the people who wear Patek. First is Fernando Zobel de Ayala, younger brother of Jaime Augusto Zobel de Ayala and current Ayala Corporation CEO. He has been spotted wearing the rare Patek Philippe Nautilus. The second is Michael Romero, or Mikey. He is currently a member of the House of Representatives. Mikey is also the owner of Global Port 900 and Air Asia Philippines. He has been seen wearing a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5980 and a Patek Philippe Aquanaut. Next is Carmen Jimenez Ong. She is the CEO of Menarco, a real estate company, and she has been spotted wearing a Patek Philippe Aquanaut. Lastly, we have Jose Arnulfo Veloso, better known as Wick Veloso. Wick is the president and CEO of Philippine National Bank. He has recently been elected as well as the president of the Bankers Association of the Philippines. Wick has been spotted wearing a Patek Philippe Calatrava. Now we take a quick look at Panerai. Panerai traces its roots back to 1860 with Giovanni Panerai opening his first watch shop and workshop in Florence, Italy. In the 1940s, Panerai supplied their watches to the Royal Italian Navy. Panerai got its big break when Hollywood actor Sylvester Stallone, stumbled upon the brand during the actor's travels in Italy. Stallone continued to wear Panerai watches in his movies. He even gifted his good friend Arnold Schwarzenegger with a Panerai. With the growing popularity of the watch brand, the Vendome Group, currently the Richemont Group, invested in the watch company and grew it to where it is today. Notable among the wearers of Panerai are Manny Pangilinan or MVP of the Metro Pacific Group, Eromon Aboites of the Aboites Group, Eugene Acevedo, President of RCBC, and John Lou Coa, owner of French Baker. It is worth noting that there are 3 brands aside from Rolex, Patek, and Panerai which are gaining favor in the business circles. These are Richard Mille, IWC, and Audemars Piguet. What we can conclude with this video is that Rolex remains king here in the Philippines. The popularity of the brand, even among business leaders, is quite overwhelming. We also conclude that the other watch brands in the Philippines are starting to see a healthy growth. More people are discovering and learning that there is more to fine watches than Rolex. Watch Manila will continue to bring you the watches of the business leaders in the Philippines. Annually, we will revisit this to determine the leading choices of watch brands in the country. That is it for our video. Please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel, Watch Manila. Also, please follow our Instagram page at watch_MNL. Thank you for watching. Please continue to join me. Watch the watches.